name is Jara. I'm from the Netherlands and I'm 20 years old, and I came here in Paris in the, let's say the 1st of October I started working as an intern. So that's basically the reason why I came to France for my intern. It's mandatory for my school. In the beginning I really liked it because, and I still like it, but in the beginning I was like, oh, you're in a new country, and I was living at Madeleine for the first 2 weeks, so it's city center of Paris, and I was walking outside, I saw the Eiffel Tower, and it was still sunny at that time, even in October, so I'm good. Met a lot of new people were interested in me.
Even French people? Or?
Even French people, yeah. Like I noticed, people told me, when I say that, oh, I like Parisian people, they look at me like, no, they're not nice. And I say, yes, they are nice. First day that I came here with my suitcase, big ass suitcase, like 30 kilos, people helped me, even women and men, both, they helped me on the metro because there are no elevators. They helped me, and if I asked the way, they took the telephone and they looked on Google Maps where I had to go. In Amsterdam, they will help you if they know, but if they don't know, they will be like, I don't know. And
it's obvious like this.
To the Netherlands, not really. I think we're quite the same. What I do notice is that a lot of people complain about their work, that they don't like to work. My boyfriend even, he has a permanent job. He doesn't like it, and I'm like, then you leave. You can try to work on it. You can change something. Also, Zied didn't like his work. He tried to change it, so he changed his mentality. But a lot of people just work a lot overtime. Also, it's also at my work, the manager is staying until 9 o'clock. For me, it's like 6 o'clock. I go home, and I think that's also typically Dutch. We start at 9. And we end at 6, and if we get, like, if we have to work overtime, which happens, if you have to have a deadline, you expect something in return, like more money or a day off. And here I have the feeling that people just do it because they have to finish their job, but they don't get extra paid, or they don't.
So you think that rules are maybe not so strong as in Netherlands, maybe?
Yeah, I think, as what I experienced, like the people around me, they're really like, yeah, I have to work because I have to finish this. Well, I am like, okay, I have to work till 6. If it's not done, it's not done. And then, yeah, you have to make arrangements.
But did you have ever problems with the French people?
The French people are late, and I noticed that now. So when I'm meeting today, she had told me, okay, 8:30. I was here 8:45. Normally, I would have been here at 8:30. But French people, when you want to meet up with them, they're always late. They're always late, and I get used to that now. So now I'm trying to do that. But my best friend here in France, she's from Montpellier, and she came here to study at the school, and I still don't understand. She's doing some master, and it's really important to have high grades because then you get more chance to go into this other school, and then it's more name recognition. And in the Netherlands, it's just everyone just have your you have your diploma, good grades, bad grades. It doesn't really. At least you have your diploma. And here it's like she would have her diploma, but she has to have like more than average in order to. And I listened to her story, and I was like, okay, like that's also what she said. It's necessary in order to get your job later. This competitiveness, being the best of the best. And for me, it was new. Yeah. When I was back in the Netherlands for Christmas, I went for 2 weeks back, and different change. Yeah, I will do everything there by bike, and here it's so crowded, and you have to get attention, like being patient with people. And then when I was in the Netherlands, I realized that this had to happen with someone who annoyed me when you're just on the road. You know, someone can touch you, and normally I would have been like nothing, and now I started like, like, don't do that, or why are you doing this? And I was ringing my bell on my bike, like, go out of the way, go out of the way. And then I was realizing, like, hey, you know, like, don't do it. But it took me also 5 days to get in this other rhythm again. Yeah.
So my name is Nabil. I came in France almost 1.5 years ago to do a PhD. So I'm currently doing my PhD. And well, before I was a year long in London and before in Padua, and well, I had two Erasmus experiences, one in Germany and one in Finland.
And where are you from?
And I'm from Venice, from Italy.
So how was coming to France after all these experiences? Was it
I should
shocking?
say, no, it was quite nice because I came, let's say, from London, and I found France and Paris much more European than London. And I liked much more Paris than London.
What?
Well, when I was in London, I felt it was like a big airport, and then the cultural gap with the English was kind of bigger. And with French people, there's still a kind of cultural gap if we compare, the kind of feeling in Italian, or I can get with our Italians, maybe Spanish or Greek, let's say Southern Mediterranean people, that we can deal, and I think I can understand them, and they can understand me quite well. We sometimes, especially with my colleagues, we laugh a lot, and it's nice. But I should say that, for example, the environment, social environment at work here, at least, is much better than what I found in London and even in Padua.
Why?
So, because the people are more relaxed, they are nicer, they are more friendly.
And what? Do you have a boss here or somebody who
I have a
is?
Spanish boss. He's great, but he's Spanish.
So
So, too many factors. For example, here for my, for example, job situation, but everything that's related to job, also friends that I met through the job, etc., housing, everything. For me, it's great. It's one of the best places where I've been for the moment. Actually, before coming here, maybe I had more kind of prejudice on French people. And then actually, here in Paris, I found them really nice. I didn't find any element of this kind of snob behavior that is one of the elements that might be seen as characteristic of French people. What I can say is that a difference I found, for example, between France and Italy in social life, or at least to what I was used to, is that it was the same in England. In Paris, usually you, for example, you go out and you meet with different people, that every time, let's say, with the different ones. For example, this weekend I'll go out with someone, and then next weekend I'll meet someone else. Well, in Italy I was more used to a kind of group social life. So every weekend you get in contact with a group of friends, and you do something different every time, but the same group of friends. So when you speak and when you organize things with French people, you see the difference.
For example?
Again, the thing I already said, the fact that it's less a group culture, and then different cultural background. You see it, for example, when you make jokes, for example. But then still, there's the element of the cultural gap. I feel the cultural gap with French girls as well. I can understand better Italian or international girls rather than French girls.
So everyone, you understand everyone
Better than the French girls, yeah. Absolutely.
Why?
Because they are different culturally.
Okay, but what are the things that shock you, for example?
No, it's just that I feel a kind of high difficulty in communication. That means if I speak with an international girl, it's easier to, you can feel it. You speak with her, you make jokes, you laugh, etc., and so this might happen. So with a certain, let's say, nationality, you might find a girl with whom you cope well, you speak a lot, you find that that's good feeling, or girls with whom you feel a bit like embarrassed, you don't know really what to say. It's like not really at the beginning, at least, working that well. And it's a bit the same with French girls. It's like, because it's so at the end the effect is that what I see is that it's easier to have a nice and interesting and developing conversation. While with French girl it's just more difficult. I mean, I don't know why. It's not more superficial, but it's with foreign girls, even if there's nothing behind. I mean, I might have, especially at the beginning, a really nice conversation with a foreign girl who doesn't have anything behind. Nothing of anybody. And enjoy it. And that thing maybe is more difficult with French girl, even if maybe and probably she has a lot behind of interesting as a person. I'm myself.
Of course,
so for example, me, I speak a lot.
Yeah,
So what I do normally when I meet a girl is to speak a lot, also to make her feeling kind of comfortable. Because rather than asking, so you ask a bit, you speak a lot about yourself, what you did. I went to Israel. I don't know. I went to I met my sister, half sister, 4 years ago on Facebook. Things like that. I mean,
And French people don't
just-
fall for that story.
just everybody, not everybody. And then I put the story of the cousin, who actually Barbara known, and his kind of third-degree cousin, acquired because it was like by marriage, let's say. But I met him in a forest in Paris.
Okay.
Have you met any cousin here in Paris, in the forest?
No. Wow. Okay.
So I start with those things, but not like that. So I put them in
In
a
order.
way with the story. With
First the
some
sister, then the cousin.
photographical order. Yes, sometimes a bit confused. Then it's like because my brain sometimes a bit bent.
I came to France because just a few weeks before, my ex-boyfriend and me separated and weren't together anymore, and I had the feeling that I want to go somewhere else, and I just want to not to be at home again, but see something else. And then it was Paris that I decided for, and I came here. And if you ask me for my first impression, it's I went out of the metro and it was sunny and I was in Paris and I was happy to be there because I just liked the buildings around me and everything. And then on my way to my first apartment, a guy talked to me, and the first thing I thought was, wow, it's so cool, someone's speaking French to me. So that was really good. So that was the first start to speak French and to feel, really feel to be in Paris, because I think that was what I was a bit afraid of, that I might be just walking around in Paris and not speaking to anyone. So
I get it.
yeah, but he wasn't French. He spoke French to me, but he wasn't French. I did have expectations, maybe not about French people in general, but more about people in Paris, that everyone's always very elegant and very, I don't know, pays a lot of attention for their clothes and appearance and everything. And also the French language, for me, sounds very elegant or very cultivated. But maybe also a bit stressed or a bit strict towards others. So yeah, that would have been my stereotypes before. Like not everyone and not all the time, but definitely the part of paying a lot of attention to what you look like and what you say and how you say things, how you appear and things like that. Yes. Yes.
And how can you say, like, what are the differences, the main differences for you with the German people, or maybe at least with the people you meet in Berlin and in Paris? Like the first things that you have in your mind.
Um, it's also it's difficult the way you ask because it's completely different if you ask Germans and French or people from Berlin and people from
Yeah.
Paris. And if I compare people from Berlin and people from Paris, I definitely say that people in Berlin are more relaxed and are more things rather happen as they happen and are not all organized and planned. And it's rather you do the things you feel like and not too much the things you have to do for some reason. Maybe for me one of the most striking examples is eating and the culture of eating. And that really surprised me because I had the impression that here in maybe in France, or at least what I experienced here, is really you have certain times where you eat and then you have the whole menu and the whole like one dish after the other. But especially the thing about times that you have breakfast early in the morning and then you have you eat dinner, no that's not dinner, you have lunch between 12 and 2 and then you have dinner in the evening. And for example, if you go to a cafe here and if you want to just have a coffee, and people are so much used to having their meals at a certain time that they don't even seem to notice that it's so strict. Whereas in Berlin, you know, people have breakfast sometime between, I don't know, maybe until the afternoon if they want to, if they feel like it, or they get something to eat in the afternoon if they feel hungry. So if you feel hungry, you have something to eat. You don't have times for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and in this and then that you're invited to see friends for a meal at Sunday exactly at 12 o'clock. That was for me like, that's really what my grandparents did. Like, I would never have the idea of inviting people for a lunch or a real meal Sunday at exactly 12 o'clock. That's for me, that was typically French. And Germans are supposed to be very strict for things at work. For example, if you give a presentation, it has to be logical. You have to get to the point. You have to, or if you have a meeting, you have to be punctual, and you know what you want to do in this meeting. You have an agenda, and you want to get things done. But I think not so much about cultural things or things with friends or something. If you invite friends, there's not so many rules of what you have to do or what you have to bring or what they expect you to do, or like wherever it comes from. I have the impression that this is like being well educated and knowing something about cultural literature and things is definitely more important to people here than it is to people in Germany. And also, maybe it's simple as that in Germany it's really rather things like a car or the car you drive. It's from like, the lower the education, the more important is the car you drive, maybe. But there's still something about this having a big car, definitely in Germany.
And here, is it the car?
And also, like, for example, having like going traveling a lot, or like, being able to afford to travel to countries very far away or things like that. And here, I'd say more typically is something like more like you pay more for your clothes or your direct appearance, like your handbag or your shoes or your makeup or your hair, like the way your hair is done, or things like that. You have some kind of formal thing, not all formal, but you have this idea of what does a dinner have to be like. or you have the thing of what does a picnic have to be like? Even if it's the informal thing, but you have sort of an idea. This is we go and have a picnic. Whereas in Germany, I'd say it's rather you decide to do something together, and then something happens, or then you do something. Or I told some friends I will be in Paris for some days, and I told you like my first reaction to something like that would be like, do you need somewhere to stay, or do you want to stay at my place? And I was surprised they didn't say the same thing. They said it afterwards, like next time tell me, and then of course you can stay. So that was where I had the impression like Germans would be more, maybe you could call that spontaneous, or
Direct, like.
direct, or you know, I think Germans mostly, like, how can you say, they are they say what they mean, and they mean what they say. So that can be very direct, and that can be rude in some cases. But it also, like, when you say, you know, stay at my place, then it means stay at my place. You sort of can rely on that. Whereas here, I sometimes have the impression like people say it, but then if you say like I'll be there, they don't say yeah, come here. So I found it difficult sometimes, like what do they really mean, or what can I ask, or what is impolite and what is okay. So I wouldn't think so much about that in Germany, because I think like you just say it and they say yes or no, and you have some, I think, more ideas of what you have to do as a man and what you have to do as a woman. Or like easy things like I don't know, like holding the door open for a woman, and you would definitely do that as a French guy, and you would not necessarily do that as a German guy.
I have been in Paris 3 times,
Okay.
and I promised myself not to come back until the moment when I could be here just living, not being a tourist. So I came in February after 4 years without being in Paris, and now I think it's like almost one year I'm here, because I had 5 months here as an Erasmus student, and then I decided to rest because economic situation is very difficult in Spain. So I thought here would be easy to find a job, a legal job. I think French people know they have a huge historical heritage. This is a good thing and this is a bad thing at the same time, because sometimes they take the challenge, which is a good thing, but sometimes this becomes a sort of pride, which is not always well founded. My idea is that their culture is so developed that they have arrived to a very high level of artificiosity. I don't know how to say it in English, but I mean, culture is an artificial construction. So at the end, you can achieve levels that have no sense. For instance, people in Paris have a dress code which is, I think, unique in the world. I mean, you can find people in the street every day that are dressed as if they were mannequins for the magazines. So it's kind of, this is also a part of the French culture, because it's a construction of yourself, of your image. So it's a super high level of cultural construction. and they think it's necessary, they find this normal, but for me it's a bit, people in Catalonia don't go so far. This idea of being French is sometimes bad because they are too arrogant. Sometimes they don't make the effort to go to you. I don't know. Lots of times I find myself thinking I could say this to that person here who is by my side and that I don't know at all, but finally I decide not to do it because maybe in Barcelona would be a normal thing, but here maybe the person would think, come on, I don't want to talk with you or something. I have talked about la politesse française with loads of people, and for some people it's good, for some people it's bad. For instance, some people say that it's only hypocrisy and that it's not true, but at the same time you must think that Paris is a huge city, so we need these little constructions, these little cultural constructions, because if we didn't use them, everyone would just fight with the others, and so sometimes a little smile and pardon, it's nice. I mean, because life is complicated outside. And for example, I saw it in the university where professors were treated like semi-gods or something, while in Spain it was like you could talk with your teacher and it was no problem at all. Yeah, because here when you are in the metro and that you open the automatic doors, you're always waiting for the next person to hold the door, and then you leave the door and that person says merci. This is absolutely impossible in Spain. And I found, when I came here, I found this amazing. I mean, this is good. You can trust someone or you cannot trust someone. I mean, it's a choice. I think you could maybe find someone easier in Barcelona in a bar who would be disposed to show his life and talk to you about his sentimental problems that here in Paris. Yeah, and I think this is also a part of this kind of construction of you show yourself being very fashionable, that you show yourself also being very successful intellectually or socially.
I'm Lukas from Austria, and I'm here in Paris for an internship. I'm gonna stay 1 year till the end of 2013, and I'm working for a company selling bachelor party weekends to now also to German customers, for who I'm responsible for. We just started with the new market. Like in general, I like it. I had good experiences. I met many good people. I had some weird experiences.
For example?
For example, I've been here 2.5 weeks, and I have seen 3 times that people were smoking joints in the metro or in the RER, which I think is crazy. I mean, I never have seen it in Austria, and I was living there a long time.
Have you seen something similar, like not obeying the rules and?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because the Parisians, they seem to be so proud about their city, but still they don't give a shit about it.
In which way?
In
Like-
the way that,
It's dirty, you mean? Or?
yeah, it's dirty, and they know it's dirty, and they seem to like it dirty. I was putting my cigarette in the trash can because I'm used to it, and they were saying, "No, it's Paris, put it away." But it means a big difference in nightlife, because in Austria it's like you go out, and until midnight or 1 o'clock, the people are sober, and then they are drunk.
Yeah.
And in Paris, people are sober
All the time.
the whole night. I mean, there are different places and different people, and I'm just here 2.5 weeks, and I've been to some bars. I've not been to crazy nightclubs, but I'd say that Austrians are more chatty, Parisians are more reserved, and I have the feeling that before I came here, everybody was saying that nobody can speak English in France. I have the feeling that many people can speak English, but they hate it. I'm not so sure about why. I mean, some point could be that they're so proud of their own city, but I'm not very sure about that. Many people have said to me that it's just too difficult for them, so I guess it's an educational point. They don't learn it really, really good. They're not forced to speak it very good, so there's no sense in putting the effort in it for most of them.
Okay, my name is Zied. I'm from Tunisia. It's in Africa. What is? And I'm not black because not all African people are black.
That's what I thought, actually. And actually, I still don't believe that's Africa, but whatever.
It's North Africa. And people there are not all black. And we don't have camels. We have only in the south you can find how do you say dromadaire in English?
The what?
You know, camels with only one.
No, I don't know it in any
Anyway.
language. Jedno grbadeva.
Yegnagravateva. And what else?
When did you come to France?
5 years. I came to France 5 years minus 1 month. In Tunisia you can go, you speak to everybody. Everybody will speak to you even if you don't speak. This is a good example. When you go in a bus or the metro and everything in France, in the 4 places, you have to be in the furthest place ever. If someone is sitting here, you cannot sit next to him or in front. You have to be in the opposite. In Tunisia, no, it's normal. You sit next to the person because you're not safe.
Because you need to be close to the person.
No, because you feel logically the bus, for example. You know, you not stay separate because.
Is it more reassuring if you sit next to the person?
No, just sit. There is no, I don't know. Just sit. There is a place you sit, but you don't. Why do you want to go far from a person? It's like I'm avoiding you, or you smell bad or something.
Correct.
Or in Tunisia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are differences.
For example, I don't know,
It
in
depends
people
in
behavior.
public field, public jobs. Generally, people in Tunisia don't work that much. They work less.
Okay.
They just do what they have to do and nothing more. But in private fields, it's completely different. In Tunisia, people work. Sometimes they can work during weekends, first, second, third weekend in a row, and they don't ask for anything, and it's normal. If you don't accept this, we'll find someone else that will take your place. So they will be correct, you know. If they're angry with you, they will not say anything. They will try to show you, but they will not tell you directly the things.
When did you arrive to France?
was like 1 year and a half ago,
Okay.
and it was horrible. I just had a place at the university. I just had the opportunity of coming, but I didn't have a job, a place for living, and I didn't know anyone in Paris. So I arrived at the Gare du Nord and went to a hostel. And it took me, I thought in 1 week I could have a roommate, but no. I stayed like 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks at the hostel, and it cost me a lot. So, but at the same time, for example, working as a babysitter, you are all the time inside the house. So you, even if you don't want to, you make part of the family. You know, you are there when they have problems, when they are fighting, the mother and father. If they are anything, you are involved because you are inside the house. So for the bad things here, because when they are going to eat something, they don't invite you. You're not invited anytime, so you're just there for working. When you finish your work, you just need to leave. That's because I think my mother never made. She was always very friendly and friends with the housekeeper, and it's been like almost 20 years that we have the same woman that is working with us. And I say that today my mother, she works more than the housekeeper because she's like playing the rules, you know. We just she's part of the family. She makes jokes about us. She always complaining, no, because you make a lot of mess, I'm not going to work, you know. It's and she eats with us. She does everything. She watches television with my mother. You know, she no, I'm not going to work. She does her stuffs, and then you know she feels it's not her house. I'm not saying she feels like she's in her house, but it's more relaxing. We are open to make friends, to meet people, to you know, but a very big difference. I think you can go to a bar in Brazil and make 20 friends, and you can have like I don't know 100 friends from work, from you just met a guy from the bar, and you are in contact. You go to parties with all these people. You have a lot of friends normally, but and here, you know, in 1 month in Brazil, you can have like 20 friends. I don't know. I'm just saying. But here, it can take you like I don't know 2 years, 3 years maybe to have a French friend. I was lucky that I met one French that he was very cool, and we are friends. But it's the only French I'm in contact with. And you know why? Because in fact he's going to Brazil. For example, if normally in Brazil it just take you like 1 day, 2 days for making friendship, so and here it will take like 6 months maybe for you to being friends with someone. So it's not worth for them if it take you so many time for constructing a relationship, and you are going to live. They are used to foreigners, you know. And in Brazil, it depends on the city. You don't see a lot of foreigners, so you are just curious. I think we are more curious also, you know. She's different, and I don't know. At first, you are curious, and then, you know, if she's not the person is not interesting, you just, you know, you let them go. Make it. I think for French people living in Brazil, the difference I see now that they have a lot of rules, but then you kind of get used to it. You know, they don't speak too loud. I think we make a party for everything. You know, when we are in restaurant, we are very disorganized. We 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 cry a lot. We talk too loud. We all the time it's a lot of noise. You know. I thought the French and European in general, they were more intellectual because they read more, you know, more than us. And I don't know, I thought that arriving at Sorbonne, it would be, oh, they will talk about some stuffs I would never know, and they must be very intelligent. And no, they're normal people. You know that in general they read more, but it doesn't mean that they are more intelligent.
What are the cliches, the stereotypes that the Brazilians have about French, and do you think they are true?
And they don't they don't they don't get showers. That's true. That's true. And I think as Brazilian, we take too much shower. So, but here, you know, it's not necessary. Sometimes in Brazil, that I'm not kidding, like 3 showers in a day, it's necessary because it's too hot. And here, sometimes with 1 shower, I'm okay. You know, I have a problem with punctuality. I'm never on time, never. So now working with them, I think it's okay. It's nice because you know you just don't have to be punctual. But working with the kids, it's very complicated. I was always running as crazy in the metro. You know, this is completely different from Brazil because children have no rules. You know, we don't have. It's not so rigid, so 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 strong.
Strict.
It's strict, yeah. It's not so strict with children. We don't have so many rules. We don't have, and then when I came back to Brazil, I thought, oh, that must be an equilibrium between so many rules in France and no rules in Brazil, and that normally French parents made a routine so the children can they will live their parents' routine. They think kids are very mature also. I was taking care of a kid of 2 and 4 years, and mother once told, I'm going to let you in your room so you can think about it, what you did. You know, the boy had like 2 years. You're going to refletir. You're going to
Make a reflection.
make a reflection about what you did. You're 2 years old, and once during this meal, she told, you're not going to eat. You know, there are a lot of kids that don't have anything to eat. She's 4. How she's going to think about it? You know, a social problem. And you know, in Brazil, you can ask Aline. In Brazil, in her country, there are a lot of people that don't have anything to eat. And I was looking at her, and she was, oh, okay, of course, in France also. Okay, in France also, yeah.
Hi, I'm Aline. I come from New Caledonia, so I'm French. I grew up there, and then I came to France when I was 17. I finished my high school here at Terminal, and then I pursued my studies in English and in bachelor and then master, and then didn't finish my English master, but like redirect myself in teaching through images. It's a master under cinema. So the island is like organized on a tribal hierarchy. Like we grew up in tribes. Well, it's similar to villages here. So yeah, pretty much the life is like organized around it, like the marriages, the weddings, death. Mostly all, we live in, you have your nuclear family, like any type of family, but you're living in a tribe, and there are like, you have duties towards the community.
For example?
We all organize all together. When there is a wedding in the village, we all gather together, and families are under, how do you say that, like clans, and each group is like, has a title and does this kind of job. This one are working in the kitchen, this one are I don't know, organizing the festivities. Coming here was like, I think it's like everybody like moving to another place, and then you realize that you don't have a home anymore, you don't have this, like, it's weird, like, I moved, like, I lived on an island, then went to high school on another island, but I was still in my family, like, staying at my brother, at my dad's brother, or my mother's sister, or whatever. And then coming to France was, like, so strange to feel like I don't own a land. I had to pay rent, pay all my furnitures. It was like, it's real life, but it's uncommon for me, because there in my country, what you are like, what you bother about is like just getting a job so that you can have like money to pay your own food, but you don't have to worry about putting a roof over your head, because actually like your ancestors have already done the job. You have land, you just need the money to build some houses over there. Yeah, because we are still living like under like tribal hierarchy, especially on the islands, not really in the cities. And that is the thing, because there is one thing that is really important, is what we call la coutume, which is like the set of laws, how life is organized, and you don't have that here anymore. I feel strange to live in the even like it became familiar, because when you go and live in the city, but it's still strange. Like first, like going and being like how do you say that? Like your first approach to the rural world is weird, because it was weird to live with a neighbor. You don't even know the neighbor. You don't even interact with him. Then behavior is really different, because you grew up on an island, tropical weather, we're very laid back, and that is even one problem in my country, because we are too much laid back, and can be really difficult, like in the working environment, because people are like, okay, it's Thursday, the week is gone, and it's the weekend, so you go lazy, go to the beach, getting into parties, and then comes to work on Tuesday, or whatever. So it's very much like laid back and not, I felt very like, for the first time, like feeling stressed, like, whoa, I have to give a meaning to my life. I have to do this studies so that I will have this job and do this internship. I was like, oh, it's not the same at home. You're just, okay, you know where you're heading, and you're supposed to head somewhere, because you have to get a job. I grew apart from the New Caledonians that I knew. Like, I came here like first 6 months, integrated high school, and trying to mingle with them, but couldn't.
Why?
I don't know, the way, like the concept of fun, or how we hang out or go. Like the activities are really different. Like we do like hang out to go to the beach or to get drunk or to
It's a big group or smaller group,
like,
always?
whatever your friends are, but how many are they? But it was like I didn't feel that way in high school. Maybe because my high school sucked here. Because like there weren't any connection between the groups. Like yes, there were like the girls, like they were like pretty much into like going out and go shopping all together, but I didn't feel the same connection that we had. Cause since we all come, like in my country, all like come from like tribes. Usually when we gather together, even here in France, when we gather together, we like still go under the same principle, and we're all like brothers and sisters. Like sometimes I'm with like some friends from New Caledonia. We walk in the street and we pass by like out of the blue, like we meet some other New Caledonians, and naturally, like when we are going to talk about it, like to another New Caledonian, was like, oh, we met that bro from that island, and everybody is brother with everybody without like any real connection of friendship, but still there is like this sense of community of we all belong to the same families and stuff. I grew apart from the New Caledonian. I think I kind of like there was a point in like my stay in France, like from the end of high school till like the middle of my bachelor in English, I was like always talking about my French like them, like I was still differentiating myself from the others, and then suddenly I just became one of them. So no, I don't think they're really polite, and that's why it's sad to see that in the buses, like you have like now billboards, but boards like showing like you have to be, show some citizen. I don't know how to say it in English, but
Like respect to
say hello to the bus driver when you get in, give your stitch. Like it's sad, like to read this so you read this, then you realize that the people like don't usually do that. And in
No
my
matter
country,
that
it's not the same. Like we
Okay.
still have like there is an elderly coming, so you get up and leave the place. But yeah, that is a sad thing. I think it's part of the city life. We all get stressed.
So